No.
Yeah.
So we have Paul with us tonight too.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes,
don't know why, but
yes.
you got my curiosity though.
Well, it's, Paul spearheads the whole Sunday school educational area. And so this really fits, doesn't it? This is training. This is training. And so we haven't had a chance to really brief Paul on this training. So what I want to do tonight is what we always do anyway, is review kind of the main topics all the way through, and then, cover our new one tonight, which is resource management. So, anybody want to just remind us what 1 Peter 3:15 says, and then we'll go to prayer? Anybody?
Be quick to give an answer for the hope that's within you, but with gentleness and tact. I just needed a paraphrase.
Kindness and self-control. I don't. Yeah, with gentleness. Yeah.
That's 1 Peter.
1 Peter 3:15.
Want me to read it?
Sure.
The one out of here instead
Sure.
of the Steve paraphrase?
Sure. Yeah, this not the Steve paraphrase version.
But in your hearts revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect.
Always be prepared to give an answer for the hope that is within you. Wow, that's a lot, isn't it? Being prepared. So, Kathy, would you like to pray for us?
Sure. Dear Jesus, we thank you so much for Steve and Mary that have come into our midst and training us on this very important project. And we ask you to be with each one of us as we take this all in and we understand it all and go out and apply it when we're ready. And bless us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. For those that are not with us, just as we start out tonight, wanted to kind of circle back around, and in the last 24 hours, the world has seen another terrorist attack of a fairly large proportion by comparison to Europe standards in terms of their city and the impact. And so just thought you might find it kind of interesting that through our CEN social media connections, we had a person who his experience is emergency management and training, and also he is, really has been involved in outreach. And he wanted to do CEN 2 years ago, but he was having difficulty actually kind of pulling the churches together. Well, who do you suppose we heard from last night? Because he lives in Manchester, England, and he just said, could we please start all over again? He said the churches are now really recognizing how not ready that they have been. And he said they're really hurting over how they're missing the opportunities that God is bringing their way because they're not prepared. And so he just came humbly, would you please let me start this again? Bless his heart,
So does he do it online?
He can do it online. He's got enough gifts and graces that we can go ahead and he can go through the curriculum, and then he just emails me questions and we talk occasionally on the phone, because he will start out with the city of Manchester, but then he will take it. His plan is to take it throughout England, and so I'll want to spend some time kind of really working with him in particular. So, and you'll understand how very strategic that is there. So yeah, and so it was really pretty neat to get that. And then there was grant funding that came through for the flooding that happened here in Coeur d'Alene. So those are two kind of interesting news things. Something here very local. A lot of people have really been affected. So that was a good thing, because a lot of these awards haven't been going out, with the economy and our recession that we're not supposed to be having, that one. And so that was good news for Coeur d'Alene. Actually.
Yeah, because they asked for funds in southern Idaho, and
Right.
they said no.
Right, they did.
Refused it.
See, that's what I was meaning. It's kind of amazing that that's happened. So that's really good news. And so what is our number one Christian emergency for Paul? We're going to just kind of deep dive and review some of the things from the last few trainings. and kind of share kind of the point of why we need to be spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically ready to give an answer for the hope that's within us. So what's our number one Christian emergency?
Finding the lost.
Yes, our discipleship. Go and
Make disciples.
make disciples. And why is it important to be spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically ready? All four.
So you can help other people.
You can help other people, and if you're weak in one area, it affects the others, right? It always has an effect on the others. Why is the church emergency team, all of you and those that are missing, why are you as facilitators, why are you so important? What is it that you do that the church oftentimes has problems with? One word, the opposite of limitation. Facilitation. You're facilitators. That doesn't mean you do all the work. It means that you facilitate the work being done. And then what are the three trainings that work in concert with each other? Ready Christian, Ready Church, and Ready City. Good. And then why are those unifying principles of doctrinal agreements like Nehemiah, unified structure and roles, unified community need agreement, why are those important for an effective Ready Church and Ready City?
We're all on the same page.
All on the same page was really the key deliverables, right? Unity in doctrine, unity in structure, unity in agreeing what the community need is, or church need. Who is our biblical role model for these principles?
You just mentioned Nehemiah.
I did.
Nehemiah.
That's really good, Paul. Yes, he's listening. And okay, and what is the incident command structure? You're laughing. No, you're not supposed to laugh. Okay, tell us what the incident command structure is.
Me?
Sure.
Basically what it is, it's a whole method of handling incidents as they arise. And currently, there's uniformity across the board, so it makes it easy to match up to other agencies when something happens, because you all should then understand the system.
And the
what
system
happens.
is roles that are identified, and then transaction happens, and the incident is responded to on the basis of those roles. So those roles are compatible. Okay. Okay. And then, who is the incident commander when in that system? Huh? Whoever gets there first. That's good. Good, good. Okay, we read 1 Timothy 2:14 about being personally biblically ready. Why is it important for you to be a ready Christian?
Because that is when there's an emergency, that's when people are seeking the Lord.
Because it's an opportunity, isn't it? We always think of a crisis as being something negative, but when our walk is with Jesus, then it actually is an opportunity for us to implement the mission of which He's called us to, making disciples. Okay, and why is it important that your family is ready when you are activated as a church emergency team?
So you don't have to worry about them.
Yep, because if you're worrying about your family, that's going to be a distraction from you being able to implement your role, your incident command role with the church or the city or wherever you are. And why is equipping the church important? I mean, what are the three basic principles that run all the way through Ready Christian, Ready Church, and Ready City? The three principles. Starts with awareness, readiness, and being there, sharing the gospel. Three principles. And why is it important when 90% of the people ask if they're in crisis, when they're in crisis, where is God in this? Why is that important for us to know?
So we can be prepared to help them.
So we can be
So we can
reminded
share.
that we should share during that time, because it's a critical point. So again, critical crisis points are opportunities for us to be able to share our faith. So we look at those in a positive way, because we have the hope of Christ. So it keeps our focus strategic. Okay, why are statistics showing we are losing followers faster than gaining them in this country and city and then in the church as a whole? Why are statistics showing we're losing followers?
When you say followers, you mean Christians?
Yeah. Why are we losing believers faster than we're gaining them?
We're not nurturing when they come. They come at a time like in a crisis situation, and they come looking for support and help and answers, and we are not prepared to give that support and help and answers.
Because we're not making disciples. It's just we're not making disciples, and so, so then we're losing them as a result of not making them. So sometimes what the church will do, it will birth new babies, but it won't raise them up. Birth new babies, but it won't raise them up. So we get all excited about, somebody who makes a new profession of faith, but then where are they 8 weeks after? Are we still nurturing them? Because, those first 8 weeks are really critical. That's when we lose so many new converts, is actually in the first 8 weeks. So that is so important. Paul, as you would know, in the whole discipleship arena, do we have a basic Bible study follow-up for new
Yeah.
Christians?
Well, as you know, the Nazarene Church does.
I
That is
do.
something on my mind, and we, other than what the pastor does, we do not.
Okay, so
So we need to organize there.
So Dr. Chick Shaver, who I have the personal, I have the personal joy of knowing very closely, and he did the basic Bible studies for new and growing Christians, and that is part of the curriculum within the CEN Ready training.
Good.
So we
because
actually incorporate that right
I
in.
had been through a prep on that, and we prepped 3 people. They
Good.
all had their opportunities to apply what they learned and use the materials. They weren't Nazarene,
Mhm.
but doesn't matter to me. Basic Bible studies is basic Bible studies.
Yeah.
And they were all fruitful, beneficial. It's a good thing that we did them. And so I know there's a need.
There's a huge need, and so when we do maybe some altar work training in the future, which I hope we can do, that's a key resource, to be able to use for new and growing Christians. And I can just tell you that, if you've never gotten to know Dr. Chick Shaver, I can tell you he's been, without a doubt, one of the greatest inspirations to me, in evangelism. He's just a wonderful man in the Lord. And he also did the studies for living the sanctified life as well, and that's equally strong. So if you don't have both of those actually here, I would suggest that, and I have some copies if you need them like immediately, but I would get some copies that, those can be used, and then we need
I
to start
have
training people to do it.
I have the online reference somewhere, but maybe I can get that from you.
Yeah,
If you
you
have it
can.
handy.
You can, yeah.
I could probably find it. But
Yeah, and he actually has sent me several copies, so, I can give some to you too. I just keep in my stock, so we'll just make sure that you get those and have them on hand.
Bring your sock. Is that some kind of a Midwestern phrase?
In my stock?
Keep them in my sock.
My stock.
Stop.
Stock.
Oh, stop.
Stock. My warehouse.
Her sock's full of money.
My sock. My sock.
Did you not have your nap today, Pastor?
Okay, moving right along. So readiness for the Christian means being aware of our times, being ready spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically to share the hope of Jesus Christ in any emergency, large or small. Why do we even say large or small? Because we know that the principles, even in small crises, applying those same principles are the same ones we apply in a large disaster. Those principles don't change. Okay, and then let's just review the whole thing just for a minute about the leadership roles and backups. And so we read from Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 13 on leadership development. So why do we need a church emergency team? Wait a minute, you're the church emergency team. Why do we need you?
To be able to
To lead
function.
and coordinate.
To coordinate and lead, you do, and to be able to minister and respond well, right? So that's why we need a whole team, because we don't just do it one of us, we do it as a team, a unified team. And so what are the 9 roles? Anybody can name the 9 roles?
Administrator.
Administration, that's really good.
Your safety and security.
Safety and security,
PIO,
PIO,
finance.
Care.
finance,
Share.
care, share,
Finance,
operations,
logistics,
logistics.
Prayer.
Logistic and prayer.
Did we say prayer?
Missing
That's it.
planning.
Prayer, share, care. On my fingers.
We got all 9.
and
Got all
instinct.
9. We've-
You did, but I
we've-
sure didn't.
Well, the incident commander is the one that can be the rotating kind of roles, but those are the 9. Great. So what is, again, our method of leadership? Remember we said the opposite of limitation,
Could be facilitated.
facilitators. And so Karen and I had a meeting with Pastor on Sunday. And so, Karen, what kind of principles did you see me endeavor to model?
We, being the leaders, and our primary focus, all the other things, they're all coming together in different little segments, but our primary focus being to reach the lost. When the pastor is trying to maybe change the atmosphere just a little bit in giving the altar call at the end of service, when the pastor gives the altar call, we need to be in prayer. We need to be very reverent, and we need to be in prayer that someone comes forward, that he's able to pray with someone, that a soul does come. And as the leaders of this team, if people see us sitting there in prayer, being respectful and reverent, supportive of what the pastor is doing, and really praying that souls do come, perhaps it'll filter and it'll spread, and there'll be more people who pray,